Here on Locked On Sports Atlanta as we get set for game 2 of the Hawks and Heat down in Miami. And joining me now from sunny South Florida, you have to
Oh,
see the
yeah.
background where she is. It is Lauren Jbara from Bally Sports. Hawks on Bally. Yeah, boy, look at the background for you,
It
man. I
could
mean,
be
that's
worse,
outstanding.
honestly. Could
I
be
mean,
worse.
you're sitting out. I hear birds. I see the breeze. I mean, God, I want to be in Miami right now.
Well, last time we did our show on Pixwise, you were sitting outside, my
I
friend,
know.
in
Yes, I
Orlando before
was.
you went to Disney. So this is my time now. It's my
All
time to
right.
shine.
I hope you're soaking in all the rays, and I hope the Hawks soaked in a ton of rest because they were exhausted after game 1. You can tell in the way that game played out. How
Mhm.
have they responded so far? I know you went to shoot around this morning. What was the mood? What was the feeling surrounding this team as they head into game 2?
Yeah, the mood was really good. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is how much energy they expended when they were in Cleveland. That's an emotional game, that's a physical game. And then you come in 36 hours later and you're playing a team like the Miami Heat that's number 1 in the East. And that's a lot of energy that they have to expend in that one too. It's really, really hard to turn around that quickly. And so I feel like coming into this morning, they looked really good. Their energy was high, and I feel like everyone mentally and physically needed that day yesterday, and now they're ready to go today.
What was the talk about the Miami defense, right? And like how stifling they were, how much they were able to suffocate the Hawks. What did you get a sense that Nate McMillan talked to the team about offensively and how they sort of break out of what looked like a great effort by Miami to choke out this Atlanta offense?
Yeah, well, Miami, they're one of the things that they do is they switch more than any other team. They switch their defenses constantly, and Spo is he's one of those coaches you always have to be one step ahead of him, right? So I think that's something that they're focusing on today. When you look at the last game, they got a little stagnant on offense. They were taking their first shot, the second shot. This time they want to move the ball, especially movement off the ball, and look at the third, fourth, fifth option. And I think that that's something they're really going to focus on.
We have some technical difficulties. I think we are Lawrence frozen in Miami. I don't know what happened. We'll see if she can get back here in a minute. Looks like we do have her back. Lauren, do we have you? Nope, we don't. We just lost her. Okay. Well, we'll get her back here in just a moment as she is having connectivity issues. But nonetheless, the switching is a problem, and they are very, very good at it. And I think that this is a spot where the Hawks have to be able to move the ball very adeptly throughout this game. All right. Looks like we have Lauren
I'm
back.
back. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened.
That's okay. But go ahead. You were talking about the switching. I want you to finish.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they were looking for their first, second option last game. This time, they need to move the ball, move off of the ball, look for their third, fourth, fifth option, drive to the rim, kick it out, get those threes. But I think that's something they're really going to be focusing in this game.
Lauren, when we look at the Hawks and the style of play that they have and just sort of what is best for them, I said earlier in the show, they need to get out early, need to get a lead early, they need to start fast because it's hard for me to envision this Miami team taking a 10-point lead and their defense just sort of giving it back. It would require a long shooting drought, which Miami
Mm-hmm.
is too well coached for them to have that many of. So, how important is it? And did Nate McMillan talk to this team about starting fast tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. He talked about, in the playoffs, you have to come out with that little extra intensity. And that's exactly what Miami Heat did in game 1. But again, they had what, 7, 8, 9 days of rest coming into that game where the Hawks had 2 of their last 3 games on the road, must wins. They won 2 of those 3 games. Well, actually, they won all 3. To be honest with you, what am I talking about? But at the same time, yeah, that is something he talked about in the postseason. You have to come with that extra intensity. Every single possession matters, and you need to put that emphasis on every single possession. So you from the tip off to all the way 48 minutes, like you really got to focus on every single possession and putting 150% into it.
There's nothing that's going to shake Trey Young's confidence. We
Mm-hmm.
know that. But clearly, an 8-point night was not anything that you would have expected from him. Do you see him? Did he look any different? Did he react any different? Or is he just the same old Trey? Kind of because, this is a back against the wall kind of feeling for this team in the playoffs.
Yeah, the opportunity to talk to him this morning, and he wasn't phased at all. He said, "I don't think a lot of people realize how difficult that is, playing such an emotional game like we did against Cleveland, playing a game against the Hornets at home, and then having to play in Houston." They were in what, 4 cities in 6 days, and they
Yeah.
had to win a majority of those games. And so it just takes a physical toll on you. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear kids screaming in the
Yeah,
background.
it's probably an angry Heat fan. I mean, it's gotta be, right?
Yeah, they're hearing me talk about the Hogs.
Yeah.
But he said it's one of those things, like, you don't realize how emotional and physically taxing that is on your body. And having yesterday off, it was not only a physical reset, it was a mental reset for the team too. And he said, at least like we had that first game. We know the intensity they came out with. Now we need to match that coming into today. I don't think he's worried at all. I think it's one of those things where they make little adjustments. And with a league that has such a small margin of error, those little adjustments are really going to make a big impact in game two tonight. And a lot of that is movement off of the ball. So I think if they move off the ball, really help Trey out when he's being double teamed, trapped, whatever it may be. I got guys in my background right now.
Look at
This is
that.
fun, Zeno. You love to see
Listen, hey, I mean, I am getting in the full Miami experience at this point. If I
it.
can't be at the arena, you can bring me the poolside experience of
I
Miami as I'm
got you.
staring at my screen. I love it. You talk about Trey and what he's going to do. Like, I have no concerns that Trey will return back to normal tonight, right? And even if
Yeah,
normal tonight is
totally.
only 24, 25 points, that's fine. But still, my biggest concern is the secondary scoring and where is it coming from? And not just one other player. It's going to have to be 2 or 3 other players.
Yeah.
John Collins didn't look like himself offensively nor defensively. He's still coming back from the injury. I think that's fair. But if he's not 100%, then I'm not going to put him at the top of my list of guys who I expect to be secondary scorers and really be effective. So whether it's Hunter, Gallinari, or Bogdanovich, somebody has to
Hmm.
make shots early other than Trey to at least start to get the defense's attention.
Here's the thing, as I feel like at this point in the season, nobody is at 100%. And John Cullen
Right.
even said that. He's like, look, I'm not at 100% right now, but I feel like everyone is dealing with nagging injuries, things that are going on. And so that's something that he has to deal with. And I asked him, with Clint Capella going down, did that give you a little extra motivation to want to come back and be able to help your team out in the postseason? He's like, yeah, at this point, I don't feel like my injuries are going to get any worse. It's just playing through that pain and managing the pain. And I asked him, is it the foot more? Is it the finger more for him? He said, it's actually the finger. It's hard to bend his finger. It's really, really swollen right now. And it's on his right ring finger. So it's his shooting hand. And that's tough when you're shooting the ball, when you go to dunk, when you go to catch. You just want to be a little bit more cautious about that. But at the same time, he's the second best rebounder on the Hawks. It's really big to have him back. And I think the biggest thing for him is just getting his lungs and legs underneath him and having that one game to be able to do that. I definitely think he's going to come out and give more minutes and be even stronger tonight. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. But I'm not worried about the secondary scoring. Like, they were getting opportunities last game, but shots just weren't falling, especially
Yeah.
from three. Like Bogey and Trey, they were 1 of 20 from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
That's not normal
And
for
you
them.
just went where
And
I was
so
going
it's,
next. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
3-point shooting has got to have. Like, I mean, look, they're not a live and die by the 3 team, so to speak.
yeah,
When their threes aren't falling, they look completely out of sorts. The entire offense.
I know. And it's one of those things too that I think that came from not moving, being stagnant, because the defense that Miami plays, they are stifling and they are really, like, they put a ton of pressure on you all the time. So they're a defense that you have to move off the ball. You can't just be stagnant. And that's one of the biggest things I think that Nate McMillan stressed yesterday at optional practice and today, this morning at shoot around, that the guys need to move, get into your third, fourth, fifth option and make them defend, make them shift and take advantage of those shifts.
All right. Well, listen, go tell that screaming kid that the Heat might be on, but the Hawks are hot, baby. And we are excited for game 2. Go enjoy the rest of the sunshine. We'll see
Thanks,
you tonight
Zeno.
on TV on Bally Sports. Enjoy game 2. Let's go, Hawks. Thank you very much, Lauren Jbara.
Let's go Hawks, baby. Thanks, Zeno, for having me
All
on
right.
again. I'll talk to you later this week.
No problem. Lauren Jbara again. Bally Sports, Hawks on Bally. All right, we'll come and wrap things up next here. Turn our attention to the Atlanta Falcons and a draft strategy that, well, still has me scratching my head. That's next, right here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Free on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta.